I think it'll be a tougher fight to get it passed in the Senate, but the politics in many ways will remain the same. One of the key questions is the farming community and how much their concerns are going to be addressed. Clearly, there were some compromises that were made on the House side, but senators might demand a higher price because almost any one of the key senators that you're talking about in the Senate has a significant farming constituency, and they're looking for, again, concessions on whether it's biodiesel or, how certain things are going to be attributed and interpreted in terms of offsets. So I think that's going to be one of the central political battles we'll see in the Senate. There certainly also is the idea that you have some key senators from heavy manufacturing intensive states, and so there may be some questions that come on that and the issue of coal. But interestingly, it certainly has seemed that the farming interests have dominated some of the political deal making in a way that people might not have anticipated earlier. There's a big push to try to get something done, certainly either this year or next. And I still think the odds are that, if something's going to be done on this, it'll be done, at some point in 2010 before Congress is done. One of the things that's really a wild card, which could either really help or hurt the process, are the international negotiations that are going to take place in early to mid-December in Copenhagen. And I think what comes out of that will also have a big influence on the viability of the legislation. Is it a deal that senators particularly feel like they can live with because they have to sign off both on the climate legislation and on any international treaty that comes out of Copenhagen? So I think you're basically going to get a pretty clear idea after December about what the outlines of the future climate agreement would be and what that means for its domestic chances. I think there's no question, most people would agree from a scientific perspective, what's right now coming out of Congress does not meet the requirements that most scientists think are necessary in order to curb dangerous climate change. Obviously, some politicians might argue differently, but I think if you look at really the kind of reductions that scientists are talking about, it's unclear whether this legislation will meet that test. That said, it will establish a structure for curbing emissions that many people feel could potentially be strengthened over time. This is what happened with the Clean Air Act, that it was initially put in place and that it was strengthened through amendments. So it certainly provides the possibility that the United States would take actions necessary to curb climate change. But when you look at the fine print right now, it's not ensuring the kind of deep cuts that most scientists say would be essential for really bringing down our impact.